Hi, I'm Kathleen.
And I'm Charlene.
The two C's discussing the big C, classical music.
And tonight, quartet music and chamber music.
Chamber music, quartet music, Beethoven quartets, and the Pacifica Quartet,
yes,
who are
we
distinct
just
as the
heard.
billows, yet one as the sea. That's what they strive to be.
Okay.
Okay, so anyways, we went to a concert, a Candlelight Series concert where they are doing a Beethoven series.
Cycle.
Okay, series cycles.
Cycle, all right.
And the first group they had was called the Pacifica Quartet, whom we had not seen. However, as I was pointing out, 6 degrees of separation. Well, guess what?
The cellist is
quartet.
the son of someone that I went to school with.
This is
Vamos.
Brandon Vamos was the son.
Right, and Roland Vamos is the father.
Who you went to
Who
school
I went
with.
to school with at the University of Miami, and we both had the same violin teacher, Joe Beloff, who is from the Philadelphia Orchestra. And we played groups together, quartets and
you
string
said there were
groups and
two
all
other
that.
guys that...
Yeah, one was Pete Bertolini. They were from New York, and the other was Roland Vamos. They were from New York City, and I was this little hick from Indiana. And, and I was overwhelmed by them because they were so good, and they were so outgoing, like all New Yorkers are. You know, they're outgoing and outspeaking and lots of fun. But anyway,
okay,
the
so
thing
we have
was,
this Vamos connection.
right. It was
But then
just
you said
surprising
that
to say.
what also happened was it when you were playing in Wyoming.
Yes, Wyoming, and I was the assistant manager that last year, and also
still
playing. And Pete Bertolini, who had been a violinist, and we'd all played together, changed to viola, and
He was playing viola too?
Yes.
So you both switched to viola?
Yes,
Okay.
and he was like the first violist of the Salt Lake City Symphony, and so he came there for that season, and suddenly, you know, he walked in, and I recognized him. I don't know if he
Suddenly he
recognized
walked
me,
in.
but yeah, and then it turned out,
Charlene!
yeah, well, I don't know. Well, I guess
Pete!
it was just
Okay.
funny because, you know,
And you said he
you
was
never
good
know.
friends with Roland Vamos.
Yeah, yes, right.
So 6 degrees of separation
Yeah.
because... So you
Less
got Roland...
than 6.
Okay, fine. But I'm just saying, here tonight, we saw
Yeah.
the Pacifica. So the son is playing in a quartet.
Right, and the other people, the other 3 studied with Roland and his wife, who are
Right,
both
right.
teachers
What do you mean the
somewhere.
other 3?
The other 3 in this
No,
group.
not the violists.
Yes, it said that in that quartet, in that thing, all in the program, all 3
I thought
of
it was
them
just
played.
the violinist and
I
the
thought it was
violinist.
all 3 of them at some
Well,
point.
anyway,
It
so
was
there was a
interesting,
connection
though.
immediately
Yes,
with this
yes.
because of her. So then I
We
would be
just heard that.
considered the same thing because it was
Right.
Vamos and you are the 2 violin student people, and then the
Yeah,
2 kids
okay,
who go on
yeah,
to be musicians,
okay.
except that he's a string
Musical-
cellist and
musical-
I'm a singer. So there you go. Yes.
Musical cousins.
Well, yeah, okay, musical cousins because as I was commenting,
Yeah,
and we all
yeah.
know music runs in the family, and it does.
Yeah, and it does in all of these, right?
Because I had 2 parents. So then both of his parents were musicians. So both of my parents were musicians.
Right.
So see, it's the same thing.
Okay.
Anyway, so back to
But
the concert.
it
But
was-
what?
Well, no, I was going to mention a couple things that I had said that I wanted to talk about. One
Right,
was the
okay.
instruments, and one was the bowing.
Okay, it's
of a-
getting hot here.
Okay, we have a little
All right,
fire, on. so
Fireside.
that's it.
Post-concert fireside chat. It's
chat.
getting a little too hot.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Well,
so you
and
want
a
to talk
couple
about the
things.
bowing and the instrument.
Yeah,
What
right.
you mentioned to me was that you thought the first violinist was a little bit dry sounding because you didn't especially like the instrument, not
Well,
the player,
I think
the
no,
instrument.
I think it's the instrument, and I don't think it was the hall because the other instruments seem to be live enough as far as a group.
Especially the cello.
Yeah, it was cellist. The cello itself was the best instrument because it responded
Yeah,
so
okay,
well.
I agree with
so
that.
well. And,
but I think the problem with the violist was, like we discussed, he's turned in.
Yes.
Because when he turned out for that one little part,
yeah, it was much
ringier, and you could hear him better. But sometimes I felt personally that you couldn't hear enough of the viola.
Yes. Right.
However, ensemble-wise, they're pretty outstanding.
They're fantastic.
Definitely looking.
They're amazing.
And playing
they
together,
really,
ending, starting.
Right. Well, they just they really worked out everything. I mean, because of the soft and loud. And oh my gosh, that was just marvelous. So, what did you like? You said.
Well, I was just gonna say that some concerts that we go to, and this is something that you have always brought up. Okay, well, and good professionals do. That you have to immediately get into it. I mean, before you take your, okay, so I got that from them.
Okay.
Okay, so immediately in their very first piece, they started, which is, a thing that everyone should be doing, but then sometimes they don't.
Okay.
Because the last time we went to a concert with this series,
yes.
Not Pacifica.
No,
the series
yes,
Candlelight
it was
concert
a
thing.
sextet.
It was a sextet from New York who get together to do these concerts and stuff. Right. However, I didn't like how they were, especially in the first piece, because it's just like they were all sort of a jumble, and then they got together.
But again, this was a group that is not together all the time. The Pacifica is together all the time. This other group was like they change members. They get together for a trip, a tour.
A trip.
Yeah, they have a trip. Well, yeah. So they get together for a tour because they all lived in different. They didn't all live in New York. Some of them lived on the West Coast. Some of them lived on the East Coast. They got together.
Okay, and what helps
for a couple
this Pacifica
months.
Group is that they
started from teens.
Okay, fine, but I'm just saying now they're in residence at a university together, so they get to play together all the time.
Right, and probably wherever they were, they've been together.
Which is fortunate and also good for them.
And that's what a good quartet has to do.
And I was saying to you, I've been in groups and there's been parts of the group that were not serious about it, so the whole thing fell apart.
Yes,
it's fortunate the four of them are serious and stick together because it is a lot of work.
It's very much work.
But they're doing it. So kudos to you. Okay. So, and you want to talk about bowing?
Well, yes, because one of the reasons they are so good is because they have really got their bowing down. Really, you can't see your hand there. That's our hands. Anyway, the thing is, like, if you're going really soft and then suddenly really loud, man, that stuff is hard to do with everybody together. And that's something that that people don't teach. Grandma was even asking me about that, and I was explaining about different. Well, really, I mean, some people are interested in it, and nobody really teaches it. Bowing, they give you some exercises. I remember there's some doing exercises at school and that kind of, and even when I started the viola, doing certain.
Okay, so were you a good bower?
Yes,
because you can recognize it.
Yeah, I was a good, maybe
well,
it's a
you were a good bower, but I'm just saying people who are not good bowers might not recognize it.
But I think if you can't play do bowing really well, you can't do good in a quartet, in a small group. You can in an orchestra because there's everybody together and you're covered over, if you don't really do it. But to play in a quartet, you really have to have finesse of bowing. Because there's too many quick changes all the time, quick styles, quick, loud, soft, all that.
Right.
And together and all that, you have to be doing it correctly and together. It's all the difference in the world. And I think that, like that other group, we heard the
sextet.
Yeah, I think some of them maybe weren't as good at that as these people are.
Well,
and other.
Let's just say this group was up here.
Yeah, way up there.
The other group was,
Yeah.